Hi everybody, Tim here, and as somebody who's used Zoom meetings for many years, I just thought I would take a few minutes here and walk everybody through the security settings that I would recommend that you adjust if you're going to be hosting Zoom meetings, especially if you're going to be publishing your meeting ID publicly on Facebook. So there are primarily 5 different areas that we're going to be going in and taking a look at. Okay, so here I am already logged into my Zoom account. And what you're going to do first is you're going to come over and basically you'll just click on your view your profile here in the upper right hand corner. Again, I've logged into my Zoom account through the website, not running the application. So over on the left, we come to Personal column, then down to Settings. Any adjustments that we make under Settings here will be the default settings that are used when we schedule new meetings. Now, individually per meeting, you have the opportunity to change these settings, but if you set them here, they'll apply throughout any new meeting that you schedule unless you come back here and you change it. Now, I'm just going to scroll down to the security settings that I feel are a little bit hidden and that I would highly recommend that you adjust to the chat area. Okay, so here we are in Meeting Basic. And the first thing that I'm going to recommend that you look at is these chat features. Okay, do you want to allow your participants to all be able to send chat messages to one another? By default, that's on. Private chat. Do you want to allow the participants of your meeting to individually chat with other members that are within that chat area? Again, it's up to your discretion whether you want to adjust these, but if it's a broad scale meeting and you're a little concerned about who's in the meeting and what is going to be going out via that chat window, these are some settings that you might want to adjust. The one big one in particular under chat is file transfer. I would highly recommend that you turn this off, which basically disallows anybody that's in the chat area to be able to send files out to other users. So I am just going to say, I don't care who you are, you're not going to send files to my people. The next one I'm going to scroll down to is allow host to put attendee on hold. If you start to recognize, hey, there is an attendee of my meeting, I thought I knew them, or maybe I just allowed them to, they paid to come to my class or whatever, but all of a sudden they're sending chats to other people. Maybe within their video window, they're kind of doing some weird things. This allows you, with this setting enabled, to go in, and if you discover that there are attendees that you want to basically kick out of your Zoom meeting, you can do that. So that's another one. I would recommend enabling that. All right, let's see. Now, here is the big one that's been getting a lot of attention in the news, and that is screen sharing. By default, again, just scrolling down, by default, screen sharing has all participants enabled, which means that if you're hosting a meeting, anybody within the meeting would be able to share their screen with all of the other attendees. No reason to allow attendees to be able to do screen sharing. I'm assuming, if you're giving a class or you're giving some kind of lecture, you definitely want to go in and turn this to who can share their screen, host only, which means you. Now, maybe you will be doing screen sharing, maybe not. By default, I would go ahead and leave that on because you may find this feature rather handy in meetings that you do, but you definitely want to take the option for participants to be able to share their screens with others in meetings. All right, then continuing to scroll down. And the final security feature that I wanted to touch on is down here under waiting rooms. By default, it's turned off, but the cool thing about this is that as the meeting host or the facilitator of the meeting, if you enable this, so waiting rooms give you an added benefit of being able to screen audience participants from getting into your live meeting until you have authorized them past the waiting room. So, do you recognize the names? Is that a name that you know has registered for your class? What have you? They're put into a virtual waiting room until you authorize them to go forward into the actual virtual space itself. And then if you enable the waiting room option, you can also come down here and you have the availability to customize the title and the logo and the description of that waiting room experience of what the end user sees. So there you are. I hope that you've been able to find this helpful for navigating some of the more advanced security features that are found within Zoom meetings. If you notice anything that I've missed and you have a recommendation that you know of that would provide even deeper security, feel free to leave that in the comments on my YouTube channel. Or if you have any questions, feel free to type a comment in there and I'll try to answer it as soon as I can. Thank you and happy Zooming.